Let's be honest. Most Bigfoot videos are blurry, shaky, and easy to dismiss. But what if there was one clip, filmed in 2001, that shows visible muscle movement, soft tissue, and even what looks like a juvenile clinging to the creature's chest? Details that would be nearly impossible to recreate with a costume. And no, this isn't the Patterson-Gimlin film. This is the Harley Hoffman footage, and the story behind it might be even stranger than the clip itself. Over 2 decades ago, a video quietly surfaced online, uploaded by a man named Hutch Hoffman. Titled Real Bigfoot Video Exclusive, it promised to look at something extraordinary. Today, we're diving deep into that footage, the story behind it, the 2 brothers who brought it forward, and the bizarre beliefs that may have eventually driven them apart. From Bigfoot to Santa Claus? Yes, you heard that right. This is the story of Harley Hoffman and the mysterious footage he captured back in 2001. Filmed in what many believe to be the rugged lower mainland region of British Columbia, Canada, the footage appears to show a massive, bipedal hominid moving through thick, unforgiving terrain. The way it navigates the environment, with power, balance, and fluidity, feels almost inhuman. Its muscular frame, especially the legs, drives it forward with confidence, as if it belongs there. So, what do we actually know about this video? The man behind the camera was Harley Hoffman, who reportedly captured the footage somewhere deep in the backcountry of British Columbia. He and his brother Hutch came from a background rooted in outdoor exploration, both experienced in navigating remote wilderness areas from a young age. And the footage itself shows a tall, dark figure, partially hidden by brush, taking a few steps across a slope before disappearing out of view. It's short, handheld, and raw. Early internet forums and blogs quickly labeled it as some of the most compelling Bigfoot footage since the Patterson-Gimlin film, sparking years of re-uploads, breakdowns, and heated debates throughout the 2000s and beyond. Over time, so-called enhanced or extended versions of the clip began circulating online. But despite all the attention, no original RAW files, still images, EXIF data, or exact location details were ever released. What makes this footage so compelling are the physical details. The figure appears to show real muscular definition, rounded deltoids, a defined tricep region, even hints of a spinal ridge beneath the hair. In some frames, there seems to be actual soft tissue movement in the thighs and glutes as it walks, something incredibly difficult to fake. According to veteran Hollywood creature designer Bill Munns, realistic muscle movement is one of the hardest things to achieve in a costume. Sculpted muscles don't naturally move with the body. They stay rigid. And yet, in this footage, the movement appears organic. The hair also looks convincing, uneven, naturally clumped, with subtle shifts in light that give it real depth and texture. Combined with the lighting, it creates the impression of actual fur, not synthetic material. The creature's proportions add another layer to the mystery. Broad shoulders, long arms hanging lower than a human's, and a posture that suggests something closer to a large hominid than a person in a suit. Its gait is fluid and balanced, even across rough terrain, without the stiffness or unnatural bounce often seen in hoaxes. The way it moves through dense, difficult terrain suggests strength, coordination, and familiarity with its environment. Traits that would be extremely hard for a human to replicate, especially while wearing a heavy costume. When analyzing the footage more closely, one thing stands out immediately: the sheer bulk of the figure. It appears wider, heavier, and more powerful than an average human, particularly in the upper body. Even a basic frame analysis highlights unusual proportions. The visible upper body suggests a large torso, wide shoulders, and long arm reach, with dimensions that don't quite align with typical human anatomy. To give a better sense of scale and setting, Josh also shared daytime photos of the exact location where the trail camera was placed. The area is heavily forested, with dense undergrowth and open trails, an environment that seems perfect for something elusive to move around unnoticed. Alongside the photos, researcher Jeff Adams from Rocky Mountain Sasquatch reported discovering highly detailed footprints in the same area. These prints measured around 6 inches in width and showed clear toe impressions, far larger and more defined than a typical human footprint. Jeff and his family also claimed to have seen the creature firsthand, describing it as tall, dark, and covered in hair, matching the figure captured in the images. Adding to the mystery, local residents began sharing their own experiences, reporting strange, unexplained screeching sounds echoing through the forest at night. At first, these noises were dismissed as deer or other common wildlife, but in light of the photographic evidence and physical tracks, they've taken on a far more unsettling meaning. The combination of images, footprints, and eyewitness accounts creates a compelling case. While skeptics may question the lack of high-definition clarity or suggest alternative explanations, the consistency across multiple reports adds weight to the possibility that something unusual, something extraordinary, could be lurking deep within the forests of southeast Indiana. A mystery that remains unsolved. A serious encounter in the backyard. One night at exactly 11:03 p.m., a man heard strange noises coming from outside his home. Feeling uneasy but curious, he stepped out to investigate. He searched for footprints or any clear signs of activity, but despite looking carefully, he found nothing. Still unsettled, he decided to check his backyard security camera. The camera was positioned directly toward the yard, capturing everything. What he saw next left him completely stunned. In the footage, a dark, shadowy humanoid figure suddenly appears, moving quickly across the frame. Its most disturbing feature, glowing eyes, shining brightly through the darkness. What makes this even more convincing is the dog's reaction. The man's dog was outside at the time, and in the video, it can be seen locking onto the figure, ears raised, a head tracking its movement. This strongly suggests that whatever appeared wasn't just a camera glitch. It was physically there. Moments later, the figure vanishes just as quickly as it appeared, almost as if it disappeared into thin air. Theories quickly followed. Some believe the footage could be evidence of something paranormal, while skeptics argue it may have been a person running through the yard. But questions still remain. Why would someone be sprinting through private property in the middle of the night? And how do you explain the glowing eyes? To this day, the homeowner has no clear answers, and he admits he's not sure he even wants to find out. Footprints discovered on Vancouver Island. In this remote region, another strange encounter began with a witness stumbling upon unusually large and mysterious tracks in the snow. News of the discovery spread quickly, drawing attention from cryptid researchers and even scientists. They carefully measured the footprints, created casts, and analyzed them in detail. But one thing stood out immediately. The stride length ranged between 4 to 6 feet apart, a distance that is nearly impossible for a normal human to replicate. A closer examination revealed even more unusual details. The prints were wide, significantly longer than any known human or animal tracks, and showed clear features, defined heel marks, and large, distinct toes. The depth of the impressions in the snow was also remarkable, suggesting significant weight behind each step. Researchers documented everything, photographing and filming the trail as they followed it through the snow. Eventually, the tracks led onto softer ground, where they were able to create a partial cast for further study. For comparison, human footprints made with snow boots were placed beside these tracks, and the difference was impossible to ignore. The mysterious prints were far larger in every way. Weighing in on the case, biologist and Sasquatch researcher John Bogle examined the evidence. Known for collecting what he believes to be authentic footprint casts, he added these Vancouver Island tracks to his collection. According to him, the prints were extraordinarily wide and long, unlike anything linked to humans or known animals. The level of detail, especially in the heel and toe impressions, made this case particularly compelling. And for many, it raises the same unsettling question: what exactly left those tracks behind? Vancouver Island, located off Canada's Pacific coast, has long been considered a hotspot for Bigfoot sightings. Canada as a whole continues to generate frequent reports of Sasquatch activity, with this region becoming a major focus for ongoing investigations. Over the years, evidence collected from this area has only deepened the mystery. The massive footprints discovered on Vancouver Island remain unexplained, leaving many to question whether they could be a glimpse of something unknown moving through these forests. And beyond just footprints and footage, there may be even more evidence emerging, details that could further strengthen these claims and bring us closer to understanding what's really out there. DNA analysis. In some cases, researchers recover hair, skin, or other biological samples from the site of a sighting. By studying the DNA within these samples, scientists can determine whether they belong to a known animal or something entirely unknown. This method has become a major breakthrough in cryptid research, offering a scientific way to examine what was once only based on sightings and stories. And with thermal imaging technology, cryptid research has reached an entirely new level. Tools like drones and thermal cameras allow investigators to explore areas that were once impossible to access. Drones can scan vast, remote landscapes from above, while thermal imaging detects heat signatures, making it possible to spot warm-blooded creatures, even in complete darkness or dense forest cover. Together, these technologies give researchers a powerful advantage, increasing the chances of uncovering the truth behind creatures like Bigfoot. And while the mystery still remains unsolved, each new method brings us one step closer to answers. But Bigfoot isn't just a modern phenomenon. It has been part of human stories for generations. Native American tribes, especially those in the Pacific Northwest, have long spoken of large, hairy beings living deep within the forests. The name Sasquatch itself comes from the Halkomelem language, used by First Nations people in southwestern British Columbia. In these traditions, Bigfoot is often seen as something more than just an animal. Some describe it as a guardian of the wilderness, while others tell cautionary stories about encountering such a being. These legends reflect a deep cultural connection between the land and something unknown that may inhabit it. One of the most famous sightings occurred in 1967, when Roger Patterson and Bob Gimlin recorded a short video at Bluff Creek. The footage shows a large, upright, hairy figure walking along a creek bed, what many believe to be Bigfoot. Known as the Patterson-Gimlin film, the clip has been studied for decades. Some claim it is the clearest evidence ever captured, while others insist it was nothing more than a man in a costume. Even today, the debate continues. These sightings, stories, and pieces of evidence have made Bigfoot a lasting figure in popular culture. Keeping the question alive, is something truly out there, hidden deep within the unexplored parts of our world?